Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to another episode of Intuitive Creator Spotlight. Today, we are diving into the world of voice medicine and sound healing with our extraordinary guest, Laura Mitchell. I'm Stella, your guide and host for this episode, and I can't wait to bring here, the space for Laura's stories because Laura is an award-winning soprano with 23 years of international opera career, but she's also a healer. She is an integrated yoga therapist and a sound medicine practitioner. I'm so incredibly honored to have Laura here. Hello, Laura. Welcome to our episode.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. It feels like a real honor to be here.
I love your energy so much, and I feel privileged to have you here with us because I know your story is very powerful. And before we dive into your story, I know that you mentioned in your messages to the world that our voice is one of the most powerful gifts that we can have. Why do you feel this way?
What a great one to start with. The voice is the representation of yourself. Okay, so obviously we have the physical self, that is a wonderful representation of us, but your voice tells us everything that we need to know about you. Okay, so for me, listening to somebody, and I don't go around doing this 24/7 because otherwise it would be intrusive, and that's not the way I like to be. So when I am asked to observe and to feel into somebody's vibration, and with their permission, always with somebody's permission, I can learn an awful lot. In fact, pretty much everything about what's going on with them. I can see what's going on with their vibration, what's going on in their body, ill health, how to help them just through listening to their voice, their choice of words, their tonality, their ability to connect with themselves, and their confidence or lack of it. So it really does, it's a phenomenal world to step into. And there's infinite healing that comes from the voice because it is connected with everyone's vibration. So your own voice is connected to your own vibration. So if you are poorly, that's a really great way to heal yourself, and it doesn't cost anything, right? When you know how to do it, that's amazing. And if you want to shift your frequency and be in a higher frequency, which is going to attract things of a higher frequency, usually related to abundance, love, health, joy, great relationships, communication. Those are all things that we can associate with higher frequency. Just through learning how to use the voice and shift the frequency of your cells and your tone, therefore, you can change your entire life.
That's fascinating. And I mentioned this before, just by listening to your voice, to your message, I can feel the emotion because you know how to transmit that, you know how to tune into it. But for those of us who maybe don't have so many years of experience in working with voice and using that tool to change the frequencies, to tune into different frequencies, how would you describe that energy of a certain frequency? How can we begin to understand them?
So depending on where you're starting, so let's say you're starting from nothing. And let me just paint a picture of a person that we're going to work with, an imaginary one. Somebody who is quite afraid of their voice, of verbalizing. Perhaps that can show itself in different ways. They can either be super chatty or very quiet or very reserved, and not wanting to communicate. Say that you're that person and you're not very well and things in life aren't going too well, and the same thing kind of keeps happening. You feel like you're sort of stuck in Groundhog Day. Okay, so that's the person I'm going to just speak about. Now, there are all sorts of variations of people, as we know, and we ebb and flow in and out of different people throughout the day. depending on what's happening to us and our direct response to it. So it's not just that we don't just stay in this one state, just to be super clear. This is person, if they came to me and said, can you please help? Firstly, the answer is absolutely. And secondly, I would recommend just entering into conversation with somebody like myself and saying, okay, look, the questions I will ask are, tell me a little about yourself. Just even a few sentences is fine. How do you feel about your life? What sort of things happen to you? What sort of experiences do you have on a regular basis that are consistent? They keep coming back. I will ask, how do you feel about expressing emotion? Okay, so all of these questions will be asked, and the result of that will be I will give that person 1 or 2 practices to go away with, and we'll do them together first of all. So a really classic one is simply noticing how we are when we get a big emotion. What's the first thing we do? Because it starts with the thought. Okay, what's the thought process? What emotion comes from that? What's the trigger? Now, these are things which are, they're au fait, they're all out there. You could go to many people and work on just that. So let's say that we've been through that process and we know what that trigger is, and there's this one thing that keeps recurring that you really want to work on. And there's an emotion that gets stuck because of that trigger, because it feels too big and you don't know how to express it. Well, that person, I would suggest, obviously it depends on their personality and what they'd like to do, but there are lots of different ways around it. So some people are very happy to verbalize, others not so much. So I would start with saying, okay, what is a comfortable way to express emotion privately without anybody else around? Okay, other than me to assist if you'd like. And then we'd find a way to do that. Through that process, I then understand what that person is happy to do, either verbally or vocally, or energetically. From there, I would then give them a little bit of help with learning how to control their breathing, work on breath work, and then look at how to not only control their breathing and do some breath work in their own time, but actually when they come to a difficult situation, beginning to understand what to do with the breath, how to regulate it, and also to make a decision. Am I going to act on this? Do I need to take a pause? Do I need to walk away? And once we have that in motion, we've then got a really good way for them to feel that they can deal with these difficult situations and emotions inside of them. When that's in place, it's then all about working with resonance, because emotion, energy and motion, we all have big emotions, right? And if they get stuck inside, they become illness, because the cells can't hold all of that. It's too much. And then the cells get flabby and weak, and then they get sick, or they're open to illness. Then from that point, which doesn't actually take that long, to be honest, it sounds lengthy because we're in this conversation, but in practice, that can happen all within, one session. We then go into, okay, let's work on verbalizing. I can help you with voice control. I can help you with using muscles so that you begin to feel more confident to speak, and to speak from emotion. Okay, from connecting with that emotion. And you don't have to do that with other people. You can do that just by yourself to start with, until you get to the point where actually you're able to communicate. You're able to say, well, actually, I'm getting this sensation here. This is the dialogue going inside. Do I choose to interact, or shall I go away, think about it and interact, or shall I just leave it and deal with it by myself? All of those are viable options. You choose to go away and think about it and do it by yourself. Then in which case I would be saying to you, okay, do you need to make a sound for that? Do you want to does it need to scream out? Do you need to cry? Do you need to do a silent scream if you're not wanting to make that sound? And then we work on a tone, and we find a tone that vibrates with whatever part of the body, whatever emotion, whatever organ we're working with.
Mm.
And then I teach the tone and give it to the person. Or it may be that actually a song comes through for them and I give them the song to work with or listen to.
It's fascinating because you're taking someone from, hey, I'm stuck, like I feel like my energy doesn't move. You know, this person has this amazing gift, as we mentioned, their voice, and you help them connect with that gift and learn how to use it. And then from what you're describing, you're working with those people who come into your world, first of all, to look at where they're at the moment and learn how to express what they're experiencing right now before moving into anything else, which is so beautiful. And I can totally tell that we could probably talk about this for hours and hours, because as you mentioned that you find a tone for someone or even a song, and then it sounds like they would walk away with that instrument or tool, so that they can use that when they're, in their space comfortably. And to everyone who's watching us, as you can see, Laura has so much knowledge about this, and I am inviting you to check the description of this video to read more about Laura and her story, because Laura went from an opera singer to a sound healer, and this journey is fascinating. So, Laura, could you please share with us a key moment when you started to explore this incredible opportunity to use your own voice as a healing tool for yourself and others?
Well, as you know, because we've spoken before, there are many, but I speak about it quite openly nowadays, which is the time when I had a stage accident. It was just a freak accident, and it left me unable to walk or sing. So, for a whole load of reasons, I was unable to see a doctor or be seen by anybody else. So my partner of the time and I worked together to rehabilitate, and it took some time. The walking came back a little easier than the singing because the muscles remember everything. So I did get back on the stage again, but it was in that process that I had to employ everything that I'd ever learnt. That's not just the voice work, which was really the big transformation tool. That's all the body work and the meditation and the lying on my back, not able to move, not able to do anything for myself, and working out how on earth I was going to traverse around this so that I could rejoin what I perceived to be my life. I found sound and I found tone, and I found that it was really helpful for keeping my mind occupied because it was frightening. And devastating and all of those things. I was very, very frightened and anxious and in a lot of pain. So I found that using my voice in different ways really, really helped me to connect with my body again and helped me to deal with the emotions. So finding ways to express all of that emotion that was getting stuck there was really important.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's quite a journey to go through, and then to discover your own voice again, and to learn everything. So how did you go from, okay, I'm doing everything to heal myself, I'm healing, I'm becoming better, to I'm ready to help other people now?
I decided that it was time. It was time to share what I'd been given in terms of the songs and share the sound healing that I had been learning all along the way. And it was a process. It was a slow process. Letting go of my opera life was very difficult because it was my identity. And to the point where, actually now I'm going back on stage for a bit, and that's lovely, but it's not the whole of my life, because my life is now taken a completely different course, which is in sharing how to heal yourself, how to use your voice, how to use your frequency to heal yourself.
Mhm.
And that's a process, as you know. I have an online course for that, and that's beginning the beta one. The trial is in January, and then after that it will be available to whoever else wants it. But it's been a long process.
Mhm.
I'd say it was a very gradual letting go of something that I was, that I so identified with, and developing something new, which I hold very lightly in my grasp, because that was part of the lesson, I think. If I am so completely I am channeled into one thing only, and that is the only way I identify myself. It wasn't healthy for me. So,
Mm.
I had to then become all of the rest of me.
Oh, I love that, because this then transforms into an amazing gift that you are sharing with the world, because you came here with this ability to connect with your voice, share your voice, and that career that you chose, it was the career that you had, at that time. And if you'll decide to embrace it again, that's going to be the career that you will have. But there is a big difference between what I do, as in like my career, and who I am as an energy. And this, speaks volumes when we begin to connect with that energy of ours more and more. And it's thank you for opening up like that, and to share, and for sharing this gift with everyone. So if you're interested in checking out Laura's course, please check out the links in the description of this video to read more about it. So Laura, I have this question, and I've heard this question quite a lot. Can anyone sing?
Yeah. If you can phonate and make sound, you can sing.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So if
yeah.
someone never ever sung anything before, where can they start from to discover their own voice in singing?
You need to get a teacher.
Oh.
Voice training. It's exactly that. It would be like if I decided to the classic run a marathon, or do the peaks. I can't remember what it is. It's like, oh my goodness me, or walk the southwest coast path. I would actually have to do a little bit of training beforehand, because I'm not equipped for that. I wouldn't know how to carry the equipment. I wouldn't know what to take with me. I wouldn't know how to make sure that my body was okay, or where to stay, or where to sleep. All of these things. If I was going to run a marathon, I'd have to train, because I'm absolutely terrible at running. And I don't like it. That's not true. I do like it. But I would always say, if you are one of those people that really, really feels that they can't sing, or when they open their mouth to sing, they don't like what they're hearing, you have to find a teacher that knows what they're talking about in terms of technique, because you have to train the muscles. That's what it is. It's about training muscles. Because if you have never ever sung, or if every time you've sung you haven't liked it, or somebody else has said, "Ooh, stop! Oh, you shouldn't sing," that happens so often, and it's really annoying, because it inhibits people so much. It's so damaging. Just take it one step at a time. It is about training your voice. It's training your muscles. And when the muscles learn what they need to do to make a specific tone, and you repeat that exercise, you're training them.
I love it. And talking about training, I know that you have a vast classical training, in your experience. Could you please share with us, how did that help you approach the sound healing more, and the yoga therapy, and everything that you're doing now?
I don't think I've been asked that question before. That's really,
Ah.
I like that. I like a new question. Well, vocal training for any profession is epic. So if you're using your voice to sing on stage, especially in opera and classical where you're not amplified. It is different. And I'm not saying that the others aren't awesome and really epic as well. But unamplified and using your own resonant box to create the sound and to get over, a 120-piece orchestra is yeah, it's a huge training, and it takes years. It took me 8 years to train. And it's not just the voice. You're trained to emote and to express, and you're trained in acting, and you're trained in languages, and you're trained in all sorts.
As it sounds like there is so much in one. You had to learn how to share your emotions, how to understand them, and how to act as well. How did that training of so many years help you embrace, the sound healing, including other tools and also the yoga therapy as well?
Yeah. When I am channeling the sounds, it will take me to all different types of sound. And to start with, that was quite uncomfortable because I'm used to making very pretty sounds, and not everything that comes out of here is now pretty, in a sound healing or in a sound bath. Although usually I'm channeling and working with like ascended masters, angels, that kind of thing. So that sound is usually pretty. But it's deeply effective because it is so focused, and it is such a I know how to find the optimum frequency and focus for each tone and all the little tones in between. That's a very different experience because it is direct and it goes straight to the heart of the healing and straight to the heart of the cells. In terms of yoga class and yoga therapy, it's in the way that you speak. It's in the choice of the words. Impeccable word. That's a really one of the four truths. One of the one was really, really hard.
Yeah.
Especially for someone like me that likes to talk. It's in a yoga class. It's wonderful because it means that you know how to support your voice, so you're not going to get tired. And people can hear you. Your words are clear. They are resonant. They are full of the truth of whatever it is you're trying to express or are expressing. And with word and sound, I think, especially when you've trained, it's an immense responsibility. That's the way I take it, because it's such a gift and it's so poignant. The sound is so direct and so focused and so all-encompassing and large. Even when it's a quiet sound, it has all of the tones and the overtones, and it's a huge expression. There's a big responsibility that comes with that, not just in singing, but in the spoken word too.
Thank you so much for sharing this, because I can feel the power in your voice as you're talking about this. And as you said, it's a responsibility, and all your experience in the past invited you into this chapter of your life now, where you can use everything that you've learned and everything that you know from the logical mind and also on a spiritual level, and put it all together and help yourself and the world as well. And for that, I'm sure everyone who is in contact with your beautiful energy is incredibly grateful for that. Now, before we end this interview here with Laura, I want to ask, and I'm sure this can help someone who's watching us, what can help someone understand that they are ready for sound or voice healing? Like, how can they recognize that they are ready for that?
And singing can feel really vulnerable making, because it is such a direct expression of you. Learning to use your voice is the same. So my question to anyone that feels either a super strong attraction or a super strong aversion is, why? What is it that you don't want? What is it that you are, so attracted to? What is it? And in that, you will find your answer as to, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I am ready. I feel a bit nervous. It's natural to be nervous about doing something that you don't feel confident in to start with, or doing something that, you know, kind of really pushes some buttons,
Mhm.
because you know that you are going to transform. You won't ever leave like, for example, the online course, you won't leave it the same that you started. You just won't. But
Absolutely.
then, you know, you start every day and you don't finish that day the way that you started it.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And like an emotion. Okay, you've got a big emotion about it. It'll go. It'll go. And then you get the opposite end of the spectrum as well. People that are just, you know, want to do it. Um, and I ask why. What's your why? Because some people want to do it because they want to be super famous. I'm like, why?
Mhm.
Why do you want to be? Okay, so you take down the layers, just, and it's not because there's anything wrong with any of those answers. It's just so that you know
Mhm.
where you're starting if you choose to start.
Just to find our own inner truth and continuously connecting with that. And thank you so, so much for sharing this with us. Uh, to everyone who's watching us, please check out Laura's links. She is a beautiful soul. I'm sure you can tell. And just connect with her and with her world. You will love that. I will share with you as well a free guide if you work with people, if you work one-to-one with people, if you serve, individuals, that will help you understand what makes people want to be in your presence, want to work with you, and to connect with you more. So check out the Master Practitioner checklist that I will be sharing in the description of this video. And with this, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and ring the notification bell so that you are notified next time when we will be posting amazing and inspiring videos. Thank you so much. And thank you, Laura, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.